Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole, and welcome to the podcast. We'll be sharing wisdom and encouragement from my mom, a woman who has created a 36-year marriage full of joy and love, and raised 3 children to adulthood that love her and love each other. We'll be talking about how to be a great mom, how to be a great wife, and how to love your life in the process. One of the things that I really love about you is you have a really great ability to be upset and then get over it. So like whenever I'm upset, you always tell me the story about, you're like, yes, when I was younger, I used to give myself a time window to be sad. And I would say, okay, like if there was a breakup or something, like I'm going to be sad for one evening and I'm going to be really sad and I'm going to emote and then I'm going to be over it and I'm going to move on. And I think sometimes that's easier said than done, but you do a really great job of that. Like I see you, feelings it's good to mourn and it's good to go through things, but it's also good to choose happy. So can you talk a bit about what you mean when you say to choose happy and then what that looks like practically for you?
Absolutely. So for me, life can be very sad and it can be horrible and it can be awful and not everything is good, and there are different seasons in life, and some are very happy in summer and some are awful in winter. So for me, I pick my battles, and my battles are that if I'm sad all the time, what is that going to do for my family? And there's a lot to be sad about, especially these days. There's a lot to be sad about, but there's also a lot to be joyful about. And if I choose happy, then everybody's going to be happy. But if I choose sad, everybody's going to be sad. And what do I want out of my family? I would like everybody to be happy and joyful and, be able to take the bad times, deal with them and move on and have happiness after that. So what I do is I give myself a time limit, and depending on how horrible it is, obviously, if somebody dies, you've still got to give yourself some time to mourn, but you also have to bring in the memories from the person and what would they want your life to look like without them in it. Would they want you to be sad and crying all the time? No. So for me, if I've had a death in the family, I definitely am sad for a bit, and then I look at it and I say, they would want me to be joyful that I had the time to know them. And if they're Christian, I know they're up in heaven. That's fabulous. But it's a choice. To me, happiness is a choice. And I just choose happy because that is much more fun out of life than allowing sadness to overtake you. So I'd give myself a time limit. If I lost, I broke my favorite whatever, I would say, okay, can I go get another one? No, I can't get another one. Then I'm just going to be happy that I had that for a while, and I'll find something else to make me happy. Or if, somebody was mean to me, I would give myself, okay, I'm going to be sad about it today, but tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm just going to be happy about it. I'm going to be happy that they were my friend. Now they're not my friend anymore, but I'm going to make it happy because life can definitely get you down. And if you choose how to act and how to react to things, and sometimes you don't know what a person's going through, and you may have treated me meanly, and I'm not saying you because you don't, but I'm saying other people. I don't know what they're going through. So I give them grace, and I just say, well, maybe this isn't their best moment. Maybe it's not my best moment, but I choose happy. And I give grace, and I just, there are just times in life that like we had to pick up and move when you were very young across the country, and I didn't want to leave. But I knew that if I had bitterness in my soul about what happened, then everybody would be affected by it. But if I said, we're moving to Florida so we can save those manatees, which is what we did, that it would be a good for all of us. So, happy mom, happy life, happy wife, happy life is very true. So if you choose the happiness and the joy, everybody's going to be affected by that. And if you don't, everybody's going to be negatively impacted by that. And so what do you want your family to be? I want a happy, joyful family.
Yeah, I think that idea of, again, like keeping your eyes on the prize and what you really want, and do you want a life I find this very hard because I have a tendency to, when I get down. But do I want a life of happiness and joy, or do I want a life where I'm, focusing on the negative? And I do think there's exceptions. Like, if there's something that's truly traumatic that you've gone through, sometimes there's you can choose happy, but sometimes you just need some help, but maybe choose happy looks like contacting a therapist. Maybe choose happy looks like sitting down with a friend and really mourning something and going through it, but knowing, because you have a goal of getting to the other side and saying, I know I can get through this. I know, that I want help and I want my life to look like this. So what can I do to go get it? And I think, the path to choose happy sometimes looks different depending on the thing that you're going through. And
Absolutely.
And to your point, I think setting aside time to be sad is really critical, because I think sometimes we have a tendency to just say, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to deal with it. I have to, just get through this and then I can, whatever. And I think mourning something is really critical. I don't think you can get to happy unless you first get to sad and say, I lost something or I went through something and I need to mourn that and know that that's not what it's supposed to look like. I mean, because when God created us, he created us to be in perfect relationship and healthy, and so I think mourning the things that are not good in this world is good and healthy. But then also, fixing your eyes on the hope that he has for us, but then also, working through things, in order to get to that good is really healthy. So what are some of the things when you say that I choose happy and you just get up, do you just fake it till you make it? Like, does it usually look like, Happy Carol does this, and so I'm going to do this? Or does it look like you just give it to God consistently whenever a sad thought pops in your mind? Like, what kind of tools do you use to choose happy?
All of those. Definitely. I make a choice to be happy. Absolutely. To put a smile on my face and look at the positive and embrace that and cultivate that and water that and make that grow as best I can.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm learning too is, because I think a lot about modeling our lives off of the way that God created us and getting as close to being like Jesus, as of course he brings us to be like him, but thinking about that. But one of the big things that I think about too is thinking about others. Like, some of my happiest times in my life are when I was pouring out into other people. And so do you find that also helps, like a gratitude, like prioritizing other people's needs? I mean, again, not saying that you shouldn't also prioritize your own needs, but are those also things that you've seen help?
Of course, doing things for other people. And part of it is, for me, is, making sure that when my husband comes home, there's dinner, the house is clean up some, and, it's small things, but they add up to joy for me.
I like that idea of kind of, what would Happy Carol do? I've had people give me that advice in the past, is like, what would the ideal version of Nicole be doing at this time? And thinking about, okay, well, if the best version of myself would be doing this, then I should just do that. I can. It's my choice. I can do that. And so I like that as well.
Yeah.